Alright, Gravel Throat Reviews here with an album review of the brand new album from Deafheaven called Lonely People with Power. Please hit the like button if you can, it helps out quite a bit. Let's get right into the review. Deafheaven, Lonely People with Power. This album was released March 28th on Roadrunner Records. This is a highly anticipated release for me and many others because their back catalog has been really solid. The legendary album Sunbather that was released in 2013, which was their breakout record, was jam-packed with all these uplifting, major key, post-rock, post-metal inspired riffs, alongside George's high-pitched, second-wave black metal delivery. It was refreshing, and at the time it was pretty groundbreaking as well. This album upset the black metal world because of the bright pink and white album cover and the happy-sounding riffs and atmospheres. Being in stark contrast to the infinite number of black metal albums with grim, dark, snowy forests, often with like swords, bullet belts, fire, corpse paint, chainmail, etc. Deafheaven decided to flip the genre on its head, and because of that, they alienated the rigid genre trolls and gained a very small but loyal fan base to begin with. I love it when bands do this. They buck the norms, take some risks, make something new, refreshing, original. If you do this, you're probably going to be rewarded with a die-hard fan base of loyal fans. That's what happened here to Deafheaven on that album. So this new album, Lonely People with Power, is an album that brings together all of the elements they experimented with along the way on albums like Sunbather, New Bermuda, and Infinite Granite, as well as singles like Gnashing, Great Mass of Color, and Black Brick, which I loved a lot. Lonely People with Power is a step up for the band in terms of songwriting, flow, dynamics, chord progressions, groove, and attention to detail. I'm also noticing a very clear effort to make meaningful songs that are relevant to what we're dealing with in the modern era. I really appreciate this because we need it now more than ever to build a community around art and music that brings us together and delivers a message and a meaning. The title of the album, Lonely People with Power, is an amazing choice because it questions the motivations and mental health of the powerful elite, which for me is a very interesting angle of thought and very relevant today as well. Alright, so let's talk about some of the songs here. Track 2 is Doberman, and I love the opening riff that has a very distinct immortal feel with these rhythmic tremolos and grim chords. Near the middle of the song, there is some smashing riffs and cymbal crashes that meld with George's reverbed and echoed screams that bounce along in quarter notes. The song Magnolia was one of the singles released early on. For the first minute of the track, it teases you with some power chords and some fluttering blast beats before dropping you down into this like filthy double bass groove with some quarter note snares and some chugs. This makes your head want to bob uncontrollably. I love this part. There are some arpeggios that sound urgent and bright near the end. George talks about he himself is the culmination of what he was taught to him as a child. He's the product of his upbringing, which I relate to quite a bit. Yeah, I love this track. It's a brilliant single because it has all of the elements that are to come on the album, but in small doses, so it doesn't get worn out too quickly. The song Garden Route has some beautiful echoing guitar notes over an interesting rhythm that almost sounds like it could be an intro to like a post-punk track. The midpoint of this song has these slow, drawn-out tremolos with an angelic reverb and a stunning, hazy atmosphere. The vocals are a little farther back in the mix on this track, and I think that's a good production choice. There are parts where the vocals are more up front and in your face, and they are more urgent, and when they need to be, you know. Cheers to the mixing and mastering engineer, did a great job on that song, and also this record just in general. Moving on, the track Heathen opens up with a beautiful and breathy whispered vocal passage with clean vocals that provides temporary relief from the emotional roller coaster of the previous track. Then the song erupts into this explosive and uplifting set of chords and tremolos. I can't stress this enough. The chord progressions on this album are some of the best I've heard in the genre. They are so good. They are truly heart-wrenching, emotional, uplifting, and soul-crushing at times. There's amazing guitar work all over this album. I like the spoken word passage on the song Amethyst and the collaboration with Jay Matthews on the song Incidental too. The track Relevator is a return to the aggressive side of Deafheaven with pummeling, lightning fast drumming and second wave tremolos that remind me again of the bands like Emperor and Immortal. I love the angsty vocal inflections on and the sci-fi guitar tones on the track Body Behavior. George really experiments with some interesting syllable patterns on this track and makes it refreshing and catchy. This is a great place in the album for this dynamic because it creates a bridge-like effect that is kind of like a sonic palette cleanser, ensuring that the album does not become stale or too one note. That Body Behavior, amazing track. Definitely check that one out. The song Incidental 3 features Paul Bands and is a spoken word interlude with some airborne atmospheres that clear your mind before the final leg of the album. The second to last song, Winona, is it's called Winona, and it creeps in very slowly and erupts into some warm, heavenly atmosphere that is so comforting and captivating. This is the point of the album where things are starting to draw to a conclusion, so there are feelings of hope, perseverance, and triumph. I love the drum work around the midpoint where things slow down before again exploding into these beautiful trance-inducing moments of sunlight, blissful sunlight accompanied by some racing blast beats. The atmospheres are immaculate. Moving on to the closing track, is called Marvelous Orange. And this track starts with some flowing water sounds and some huge toms that lead you into this slow, heavy dreamscape with these drawn-out screams in the mid-ground. There are some beautiful, clean vocals as well that are layered and somber. This track is a great closer because it is both hopeful and deeply emotional. It's emotional because we have come to the end of a journey, but we made it out alive, and it's hopeful because we are forced to face ourselves in the mirror and come to terms with some harsh truths. And for now, that work is done and it's over and we can rest. So in conclusion, I really, really like this album. I think it's Deafheaven's best work yet. I think it's thoughtful, beautiful, lush, emotional, triumphant. I love the tones. The drumming is insane. The flow is well thought out. The vocals are incredibly dynamic and insightful. I can't say enough good things. And for those reasons, I got to give this album a 9 out of 10. It is a brilliant record, and it's going to be one of my favorites of the year for sure. Massive shout out to Deafheaven. I got a ticket to see their show on the upcoming tour with Gatecreeper and Trauma Ray. Very much looking forward to that. I do have some t-shirts for sale. If you are interested, let me know and in the DMs. And hit the like button if you can. Thank you so much for checking this review out. Massive shout out to Deafheaven. Amazing album. This is Gravel Throat Reviews. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.